If COP28 is to have any chance of success, the UAE has every interest in minimizing the impact of the war in Gaza. But despite an agreement reached on the first day of the conference on the creation of a large fund to help vulnerable countries, geopolitics quickly resurfaced. Witness the attire chosen for the Israeli pavilion.
Israel suffered a horrific terror attack just 2 months ago, less than 2 months ago. And we are here despite the war going on at home, despite the loss we suffered. We take the negotiation very seriously. We prepared for it in advance. Israel wants to contribute to the climate change goals. We are committed to commitments we took already at COP27 and COP26. I'm glad to say that what's going on inside the negotiation rooms is very serious negotiation led by the UAE, who doesn't allow politics to come into the room.
But politics doesn't need permission. It is interfering in this COP28 on its own, for instance by imposing a hitherto eluded subject, the environmental impact of war. On both the Palestinian and Israeli side, large urban, agricultural and forest areas have been bombed, burnt, destroyed, contaminated by leaking chemicals, and the consequences are not only for the air and soil, but also for all the civilians who are exposed.
The impacts of climate change are greater on the Middle East than on the average in other areas of the world. That means our challenge is more acute. And of course, the challenge is not just for Israel, but for all our neighbors, which is why it was so important for us to come today, despite what's going on in Israel, in order to make it clear that Israel has solutions and wants to present them. And therefore, the sooner that our neighbors can understand that they can benefit from our expertise and knowledge, the more that we can be involved in solving their problems and ours.
Among these neighbors is Saudi Arabia, whose GDP is still almost 50% dependent on oil revenues and who will need Israel to ensure its energy transition once the war in Gaza is over.
Climate innovation can really be a lever for building relationships. Climate, as we know, doesn't discriminate against geographies. It doesn't know where there are geographical borders. And the pain points that we're feeling around the world are felt regardless of geopolitical conditions. And so when we're talking about clear issues around water security, food security, agricultural security, and we're looking for the technological tools that'll help us build a resilient future, climate innovation becomes an apolitical conversation.
But after seeing Isaac Herzog cancel his speech at the COP28 podium, Israel won't be sending Benjamin Netanyahu or Foreign Minister Eli Cohen either. 1,000 Israeli officials should have made the trip. In the end, there will only be 28. Other Middle Eastern countries such as Iran won't be taking part, and others are walking on eggshells, all of which reduces the chances of success for this conference.